You're not loving too much. I want you to really sit with that for a moment, because I know how often it feels like you are. Like you're the one who always gives more, the one who cares more, the one who waits, understands, forgives, again and again. And at some point, this starts to create a very quiet question inside of you. Why am I like this? Why do I feel so much? Why do I get so attached? Why do I stay even when something in me already knows this isn't enough? And if you've ever asked yourself that, there's a chance you didn't go far enough back. Because this doesn't start in your relationships. It starts in your emotional history, in the way you first experienced connection, in the way love was offered to you or withheld from you. Not always in obvious ways. Sometimes it's not about trauma in the way people imagine. It's not always something loud or clearly painful. Sometimes it's subtle. It's growing up in an environment where love was present, but inconsistent, where care existed but wasn't always emotionally attuned, where you were loved, but not always deeply seen. And as a child, you don't question love. You adapt to it. You learn its rules, even when those rules are never spoken out loud. You start to understand things like, when I behave, I receive more attention. When I don't need too much, I'm easier to love. When I take care of others, I feel closer to them. And slowly, you begin to shape yourself around connection. You become more perceptive than you should need to be. You learn how to read emotional shifts. You anticipate moods. You adjust your behavior to maintain closeness. And none of this feels like survival at the time. It just feels like who you are. But what's actually happening is that your nervous system is learning something very specific. Love is not just received. Love is maintained. And more than that, love can be lost. So you stay alert. You stay emotionally available. You stay invested. You become the one who holds things together. And this is where something very important begins to form. Your identity becomes linked to how well you can sustain connection, not how well you can experience it. And this follows you into your teenage years, into your adult relationships, into the way you attach to people, and the way you stay attached. So when you meet someone, you don't just like them. You move toward them emotionally. You open quickly. You connect deeply. You invest genuinely. And at first, this feels beautiful. It feels like intimacy, like chemistry, like something meaningful is happening. But over time, patterns start to emerge. You begin to notice that you're often the one initiating more, understanding more, adapting more. You're the one who tries to keep things stable, who smooths over conflict, who gives the benefit of the doubt, even when something inside you is already feeling the imbalance. And here's where it gets complex. Because consciously, you might say, I just love deeply. I just have a big heart. I just care. And that may be true. But underneath that, there's often something else operating. Something quieter. Something older. A belief that says, if I don't give this much, this might not last. So you stay, even when you're not fully met. You wait, even when consistency is missing. You explain things to yourself. You minimize your own needs. You tell yourself, they're just going through something. They'll change. It's not that bad. But your body knows. Your body always knows. It feels the tension, the imbalance, the emotional distance. And yet, you override it. Because losing the connection feels more threatening than losing yourself inside it. And this is the moment where loving too much gets misunderstood. Because from the outside, it looks like devotion, like loyalty, like emotional strength. But from the inside, it often feels like anxiety, like waiting, like hoping, like constantly trying to secure something that never feels fully secure. And that's not because you're doing love wrong. It's because your system learned that love requires effort to be sustained. So when something feels uncertain, you don't step back. You step in. You give more. You try harder. You become even more available, not realizing that this is exactly what keeps the pattern alive. Because the more you overextend, the less space there is for the other person to meet you. And slowly, the relationship becomes one-sided. Not always in obvious ways. Sometimes it's subtle. You're emotionally present, and they're intermittently present. You're consistent, and they're inconsistent. You're invested, and they're comfortable. And you tell yourself it's okay, because part of you still believes this is what love feels like. And this is the core of it. It's not that you love too much. It's that you learn to associate love with emotional effort instead of emotional reciprocity. You learned that love is something you keep alive, not something that naturally holds you to. And because of that, when you finally encounter something different, something calm, something stable, something emotionally available, it might not even feel right at first. It might feel unfamiliar, maybe even a little uncomfortable, because there's no chase, no guessing, no emotional tension to manage. And without realizing it, your system might interpret that as something is missing, when in reality, nothing is missing. For the first time, nothing is being demanded from you in order to be loved. And this is where the real shift begins. Not in changing who you are, not in loving less, but in learning to recognize what real connection actually feels like. Learning to notice when you're overextending, when you're abandoning your needs to maintain closeness, when you're staying not from alignment, but from fear. Fear of loss, fear of not being chosen, fear of confirming something you've carried for a long time. And this is delicate because it requires honesty, not judgment, not criticism, just awareness, the kind that allows you to ask yourself, am I being met? Or am I trying to be enough? Am I choosing this connection? Or am I afraid to lose it? Am I showing up as myself? Or as the version of me that keeps this working? And those questions don't always bring comfortable answers, but they bring clarity. And clarity is what starts to change patterns. Because the truth is, you were never too much. You were just taught to do too much in order to feel loved. And now, you're being invited to learn something new. That love, real love, doesn't ask you to disappear inside it. It meets you. It holds you too. And it doesn't require you to earn your place in it.